Hi, I'm Ron Jordan with Focus on Energy, and we are back here at the Net Zero Ready home, almost ready to go.
Almost.
Jacqueline and Kevin are here, and so is Tim O'Brien with Tim O'Brien Homes, and we are going to talk to him today about this neighborhood, this house, what he's doing. Tim, thanks for coming.
Oh, it's wonderful to be here. Thank you for the opportunity.
So tell us and everyone who's watching, why is building green so important for you?
So when we started Tim O'Brien Homes back in 2007, my partner and I believed that there are better ways to build a home that are high performance, energy efficient, but still value to the mainstream buyer. At that time, there was a lot of niche builders that were building green, and there was an affordability content to it. And we felt that we could provide value through really energy modeling the systems and working with the writer that we had at the time who loves to innovate with us. And we found a great combination of materials to build a system that can still be economical and provide value to the consumer, because it's not just what it costs to build a home, it's what it costs to operate the home. We call that the total cost of home ownership. So we really take both of those into consideration whenever we design or tweak or whatever we do, modify our home and the system that we build, to make sure that we're still providing value to the consumer, because we want to be able to make this more of the mainstream. And that's what we set out to do when we started Tim O'Brien Homes.
This entire neighborhood is, going this way. So how many homes does Tim O'Brien have or is building or built in this area?
In this area, we've built about 40 to 50 homes in this area. We've built, typically in the Metro Milwaukee area, the Madison area, we're building about 80 to 90 homes a year. And then in Milwaukee, we're building about 110 to 120.
Are all your homes going this way, or is it with the homeowners? They are the ones coming in and saying, we want to build a home like this?
So for the Zero Energy Ready Home program, we developed a community in the Metro Milwaukee area, New Berlin, where we did 34 of these homes, and we actually augmented the electrical consumption with a reasonably sized solar array on every one of the homes. So that was our first kind of experiment into the net zero energy and still providing some solar PV for the consumer. And we have another community in the Metro Milwaukee area that we've made it a standard. But most of the time, it's really kind of consumers like Jack and Kevin who are coming to us to say, we're really interested in this concept. We still have kind of an economic green climate is what I call it. So we still got to really make sure that we're communicating that value to the customer of what it can be. But the Focus on Energy program is something that we've been with since day one. So every home that we built since June of 2007 has had that third-party certification in both through Focus on Energy, or at that time I believe it was Wisconsin Energy Star, and through the Wisconsin Greenbuilt Home Program. So every home that we built has had that third-party certification. And we like getting that data. We don't sample test. We want to test every home because every home is unique. And every home is made, it's the last great handmade product in the world. So, they're built with human hands. So there are things sometimes we have to go back and tweak and adjust. And that data really helps us know how we're doing, how our trades are doing.
You guys have to have some questions.
Well, I have to say, definitely speaking to that point, we've definitely felt that, where, remember, I kept questioning, do we have enough insulation to minimize the load of this house? Kept going to Tim O'Brien with my questions, kept going to the energy rater, the building performance consultant, asking for the energy model. And turns out this house is doing a lot of great things already. And we didn't really have to worry about the things that I was worrying about. So one of my questions is, what's in the future for these homes? Like, how do you keep changing? Do you keep changing? Do you stick to a plan?
So we're always looking for opportunities to innovate. The last couple of years with the unprecedented rising costs of housing has kind of, put a little pause on that for a bit so we can get some control and cost and control and skilled labor force. But there's always opportunities for us to find ways. Really what we focus on mostly is air sealant, because that's the most cost-effective way to build an energy efficient home, followed by a good insulated wall system. As you know, we use closed cell foam strategically in certain areas of the home. One of the other new products that we just started using is from a company called Aero Barrier. And we used Aero Seal on your home. And that's really making that ductwork tight, really minimizing leakage. So that's been one of the bigger innovative pieces we've done just recently, is really working with Aero Seal and Aero Barrier. I think the next step for us is to look at other options to use Aero Barrier within our home to really dive down and really pull that air exchange down, because we use mechanical ventilation, which are the lungs of the home, the energy recovery ventilator that you have in your home. are the lungs of your home, which really bring in that fresh air for you. So really tightening up the home even more is probably the next step for us to take a look at.
So, how did you start, and at what point did you realize, or did you start from the beginning when you wanted, when you got into this industry, that you wanted to build green and you're, looking forward and sustainable, everything's sustainable?
So kind of where I started in this whole process, this journey, was back in the mid-90s. I had a science background, civil engineering background, so I was introduced to this concept called building science, which was relatively new back then. And I really just gravitated towards understanding, basically laws of thermodynamics was a class I took in college. So like when we start talking about air movement and air pressure and moisture movement, I'm like, I get this stuff. And so I wanted to learn more about it. So I just continue to put myself in positions with people of influence that understand the topics. I've got contacts up in Canada, because Canada is a very unique building climate. And there's so much that we can learn from the Canadians and how they're building homes. And I've really gravitated towards learning and understanding how they deal with moisture in such a cold climate. And we've brought a lot of those concepts back here to Tim O'Brien Homes. And just continuing to learn, because everything evolves, everything changes, products change. Heat pumps were not something like this, like what we're putting in this house. This wasn't available 20 years ago on a scale that it is now. So there's just that continuous learning that we do. We belong to the Energy and Environmental Building Alliance, EBA, which is a group of high performance builders that really focus on what are the next steps. Carbon is a big one. Carbon reduction is really kind of the next journey that our industry, or at least the people that are building high performance homes, are going to go on, trying to continue to reduce that impact on the environment. Housing plays a huge role in the environment. And, that's what we wanted to do early on, to say we want to minimize that impact, not only in the building side, but in the operation side.
Tim, tell us how Focus on Energy has worked with you all these years.
Our relationship with Focus has been absolutely beneficial to our operation. And because the data that they collect and the data that they can share with us, and not only our testing, but just in general what's happening, gives us a good feel of how we're tracking. The relationship in terms of understanding and learning and education with the group at Focus has really allowed us to experiment with other things that we probably wouldn't have done before, because they learn through the science and experimenting that Focus does, and the connection that they have with other groups that are similar to Focus, to be able to bring that into a smaller Midwest market and to be able to learn from that has been a huge benefit to us in our learning curve, and for us to be able to build better homes.
Well, I've got one more question. Kevin and I we're really proud to have pursued and kind of pioneered this net zero energy home that we're building. I'm curious, from your perspective, what are you most proud of in your homes?
What I'm most proud of in our homes is not only the team that build it. We don't build anything. Our trades are the ones that build it. And our trades understand our mission, understand what we want to do with innovation. Our mechanical trades have been the same mechanical trades that have been with us since 2007. We grew together, we innovate together. So on the building side of it, I'm very proud to have some of the best minds in really working with us to find more innovative ways to build a home. The second thing I'm proud of is people really don't understand the benefit of the home in the sales and construction process until they live in it. And it's what I love to hear 6 months or 12 months afterwards. I can't believe how low my energy bills are. I can't believe how more comfortable I feel in the home. Those are the things that I really enjoy hearing. And early on, when we started Tim O'Brien Homes, we made a lot of the things that are standard now from an energy efficient feature. The things that are standard now were options back then. And nobody wanted to take them because they wanted the beautiful countertops and they wanted the beautiful cabinets. And finally, I just said, you know what? I'm not going to make it standard anymore. This is included. And people would say, well, can I get a credit for it? No, you're going to realize the benefit of it later. And after we started doing that, it took about a year or more. And then we started hearing from people, you know what? I'm so glad I didn't take this out. My home is so much more comfortable. My utility bills are lower. So a lot of times people, unlike Jackie, who understands it, don't understand it up front and don't feel it or realize that benefit until they've been in the home 6 or 12 months. So those are the things that I'm glad that we just said, you know what, we're just going to include it. It's not going to be an option. We've got to really focus on that value principle and make sure that people understand the value of what we're doing and be strategic about it. And it's worked really well. And so just that feedback that we get from our customers after being in the house for 12, especially going through a winter, that's usually, where that feedback
Just in
comes from.
time for you
I
guys.
was gonna
Yeah,
say.
Tim, thanks a lot for coming out here and doing this with us. And this is a beautiful home. I think they're going to be happy.
We're thrilled.
Our pleasure. I'm so happy that we had the opportunity to do this with you.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us, and make sure you hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you back here in a couple of weeks.
That's right.